Elissa back in. I'm driving through Madison one more time. This time I'm going to turn left on Washington Street. So I thought I'd just try to give you a view of what I'm looking at while I'm driving. This is historic Madison. I kind of wanted to ask, I think the historic Antebellum Trail begins in Madison. It looks like it may go on up through some more towns. I've heard of the Antebellum Trail. I'm not sure exactly, how long it is or how far it stretches. But it is, part of Georgia's history. But then again, I'm kind of talking about things that I haven't studied. So you can clue me in and I'll study it up later. But to me, Antebellum, is that like plantation homes? Which, we're having a controversy about right now is, are we celebrating the history where we had slaves, working the plantations to make, people rich while they were owned by other people. I believe that the Civil War...
In a quarter mile, turn left onto West Washington Street.
...was to, because the South wanted to become its own country for, whatever reason that was. I think part of it was probably owning slaves, and I'm sure that there were other reasons, so don't sue me. But the end of the war was that we all remained one country. What does our money say? One nation under God. Where we have
turn left onto West Washington Street.
And Lincoln's address, said something about, us being created equal. And so, same rights for everyone. So I just don't see where it's a good idea to celebrate things that have divided us or made one person on another level, or one person could own another person. And you can go have all kinds of arguments about that. Also people say black man started the race, started the slavery, and all kinds of that. But the fact is that it is in
Continue
our
for 21 miles.
That people in this country did own slaves. It was in the southern states, I suppose maybe south of the Mason-Dixon line. I was born almost a mile from the Mason-Dixon line in Pennsylvania, but living in the South, for 40-some years, almost 50 years, I grew up with, people from all races, and United States is a melting pot, and especially Florida in southern United States is a melting pot of a lot of different races and nationalities. Florida, the part of Florida that I came from, is highly agricultural. We had people come from other races to, work in the ferneries and the farms, the same as when my ancestors came over from Scotland and they were worked in the coal mines. They had, we went to the coal mine museum in Robertsdale, Pennsylvania, and they had like a payroll log. And if you were like Slovenian, you made this much. If you were Scottish, you made this much. If you were German, you made this much. So it's just smacked of racism. I don't know what you would call that, culturalism. Anyway, nationality profiling, discrimination of all kinds. And here, when women are fighting for equality, races and people, different nationalities because of where they were born, fighting for equality. And people say everyone has rights. No, but that may be true, but there is still a lot of division. There's discrimination, even though it may be illegal. There's still discrimination going on. So I, for one, maybe these statues and these memorials should be in a museum. But I don't think it's fair to have like a Southern general who fought for the Confederacy in a town square where, he was clearly for the Confederacy, and one of the things was for slave ownership. And so I think it's time to get past all of that. And that's just my opinion. You can put your opinion. I don't want to have a big argument going on, people calling each other names, you idiot, you this and that, you racist. That's not what we're here for. We're just here to discuss things, talk about them. But that's just my opinion. Yes, it's very historic. Like I said, Madison reminded me of Atlanta, Florida. A lot of historic places, beautiful oak trees and, historic buildings. But we also have to consider the history there. Doesn't mean we had to tear the buildings down. No, we can learn from the past, and we can take, what our ancestors have done, learn from it, and make this country a better place. Make sure that that never happens again. Protect our fellow man and fight for equality for everyone, not just one person or just men or just white people or just black people or just Asians or whatever the person is or the group is that is facing discrimination. There's even a discrimination between rich people and poor people. Rich people sometimes, not everyone, but sometimes people who have a higher social status, higher financial status, live in a nicer home, and then they raise their kids thinking that they're better than the neighbors down the street, and they look down on them and call them names because they're not wearing designer clothes. All of that, that's things that people struggle with, and if you've never been on the receiving end of that, then you won't understand. But that's just my take on it. I'm not criticizing Antebellum. It is part of our history. It just made me think about all of those things and think about the Southern history and how we can take that and make sure that people are not discriminated against. And today there is modern day slavery going on. Children, women, even men, people, migrants are being infiltrated into this country to become basically human trafficking, slaves, slave labor, sex crimes. So it's still going on in the world. So I think that we've got a long way to go, and we just need to look around and see what can we do. How can we help to improve things? Who are we going to vote for to make sure this doesn't happen? So anyway, now we've got 17 miles to go to Elissa Drive to get on